So, human interactions are all about the continuous negotiations. How we deal with ourselves, I would rather say how we deal with our prejudices, our never ending desires, and how we deal with our family members, neighbors, society members, office colleagues, seniors, juniors. Depends on how we are positioned favorably or not, is based on which negotiation style we adopt and apply. I remember a famous quote by the great John F. Kennedy. He says, "Let us never negotiate out of fear, but never fear to negotiate." So, with this, let me present a couple of scenarios from my own life. Scene one: buying your own home is a dream for everyone, isn't it? And especially after marriage, this idea is fed heavily by the home minister of the house. And the same scene played out for me. And somehow, from the very beginning, I was against the idea of buying a new house for me. And the reason could be multifold. The first reason is in the field of IT, you are never sure in which city or which company you may need to change to. And the second point is that you tend to think a lot about the huge burden of the home loan, which of course will bend your back. And the third reason, finding the right property and having the right budget at your disposal. And because of these three primary reasons, I always used to argue with my wife, what is the problem in staying in a rented place? However, when the time comes for the rent agreement renewal, when the house owner comes and asks you to increase the rent amount, or the house owner asks you to vacate the house on some flimsy ground, then the house owner of the house or the home minister of the house starts shouting and jumping around. That was the very reason why I asked to start looking for a new house, buying for a new house. Gradually, it made sense to me. And in this negotiation process, I could see more merit in buying a property and gradually or eventually getting some peace of mind. And finally, after 12 years of service, I could buy my first home thanks to the bank and family members. So, this is a prime example of accommodative negotiation where both of us negotiated with each other, and I finally agreed when I thought I could manage it financially. Right? Coming to the second scenario, this context revolves around my first on site travel. Let me confess here, when I wanted the most to visit a foreign land during my early professional career, as if to make a dent in the universe, I never got this opportunity. I would say I never made the cut. And as you all know, our society, in some pretext or other, would tell you on your face that you haven't reached anywhere in your life unless you visited some exotic foreign land. My relatives would say 10 years with IT, with no on site. Strange. They would look at me as if I had some kind of inherent deformity in me. And let me tell you, these kind of comments will definitely rankle your mind, isn't it? And secretly, I made up my mind to start seriously trying for my first on site. And one fine day, I reached to my manager's cabin and made an urgent plea for creating or making a UK visa for me. She looked at me quizzically and then somehow finally agreed. However, she took her own sweet time to start the visa process. Few months passed, nothing moved, nothing happened. Then, out of sheer frustration, I asked for a release from that project. My manager requested me to stay back for some more time, stay put for some more time. But I was in no mood to stay back until I unravel this on site mystery. Finally, I got a release from that project and I stayed claiming at other projects with on site opportunities only. Bold and underlined on site opportunities only. At last, I could convince one resource manager and negotiated well with a on site stakeholder for the European Schengen work permit. And my negotiation strategy and style was to highlight and emphasize what I could bring onto the table, which my other competitors would not. So, due to the sheer dint of the competitive and accommodative negotiation style, I could get success, and my first on site visit to Belgium came true. So after I tested my first success, I longed for more and then tried my hand with my acquired negotiation skills for other Middle East country opportunities. And there also it worked well. So for me, the negotiation styles of accommodation, competitive and collaborative worked in different situations. Currently, it's for me now to bring in the negotiation skills to fight against our own deficiency, our own limitations, our own inhibitions, and win over the inner demons in ourselves. And it's time for you to elevate yourself with your negotiation skills. Do let me know what is your negotiation skill.